Hello, my name is Richard and I'm here to show you my arcade build. This is Rich's Retro Arcade. It was used with a kit from bitcade.co.uk, I believe, and the artwork, some of it's custom, some of it isn't, but I think that was made by Rockstar Print, which is also in the UK, but I've obviously custom designed it to my own specifications. So yeah, here I am. I'm going to do just a sort of overview of the build and show you the Hyperspin setup on it. And yeah, so here we go. So first of all, you can see the marquee at the top is lit. Just an LED strip behind the marquee, and that was designed by myself. Just sent to Rockstar Print, and he printed it nice and quick. Same for the bezel around the monitor, which is a 19-inch monitor, which has got the systems and the corresponding buttons, which is great for new people who come to the arcade machine, and they can see that the matching red buttons, and they know what to press when they're in, say, PlayStation or Nintendo. We have coin and start buttons on each side for each player. A built-in amp, and below we've got a USB connector that connects to the PC for anything external. At the moment it's got a keyboard plugged in and a Wi-Fi and Bluetooth adapter, but you can obviously swap out for controllers or anything, light guns, but I don't have those yet. On the sides we have pinball buttons on each side, so it's great for visual pinball or pinball arcade. And here's the side. So I went for the 8-bit character design, which I think looks awesome. Whoever made that is just fantastic. And this was a custom design, which again, working with Rockstar Print, we made together. Just a bunch of games that are on the arcade machine, some of my favourites. The other side's different, but it's sort of blocked off in the corner. You can't really see down there. But yeah, the front shows you some of the systems that are on there. So Dreamcast, Wii U. There's a cool kick plate on the bottom as well, which just bought off eBay and cut to size. But yeah, okay, so let's show you the Hyperspin setup. Okay. It normally just Hyperspin comes on automatically when you turn on the machine, but for this video I thought I'd show you it just from start to finish. Stereo sound, it gets nice and loud. Just turn that down and just press any button to stop the intro. Okay, so here we are in the main setup, and here we go. And I'll just cycle through some of the systems that I've got, some of my favourites, and show you how I've put together my Hyperspin setup. Obviously, a lot of everything's available online, used from with the help of Retromaniac US and other places. So shout out to them for all their help, especially from the beginning. I started on a Raspberry Pi, and now all the way into a PC build with everything from Techno Parrot to PC games all working okay on here. So yeah, okay, so let's start from the beginning. So arcade classics, I've set it to with a high score emblem on there, so you can high scores can be set on this system. I've got the main games a crazy amount on here, but they're all games that you would likely play, not a bunch of mahjong games or games like that. Just you know, the arcade classics. These wheels, most of them I downloaded online, but there's a couple I had to make for some of the systems. PC games. So the computer I'm running is it's an old Core i5, I think second generation, but I whacked a GTX 1060 in there, 6GB, and it will play all these games.
We got some legendary stuff.
So for PC games, I mainly just put games on there that I'd enjoy playing on the arcade machine. A lot of games, obviously PC games need controllers and, you know, 360 camera control, which you just can't do on an arcade machine. I have a controller, but I don't really sit there on a controller. I've got a PlayStation downstairs. So these are the HD remakes of Shenmue. Okay, so those are the PC games. I've got a 3TB hard drive, so it's not crazy big, but it's enough. It's got all the games that I could ever want. If there's any games that I don't want to play anymore, just get rid of them. Right, Pinball FX2, FX3. These are VP9 tables. I made this wheel, VPX. It's got pretty much every VPX table and currently up to date, including some of the rarer and harder to find tables, which if you know what they are. Not every game's got themes, but yeah, but these are great. I've got plenty of the machines now. I've got colour DMDs on, which I've got up and running recently with the help of a couple of guys from the group. I love the theme on Amiga. I think it's fantastic. How the video snaps play on the actual computer screen. I think it's awesome. I'll show you some of the main wheels and stuff. I won't show you every single one, but yeah, some of the big ones. Let me show you a game in here, and I'll show you Hyperpause, and I've got it so every game has got a corresponding manual and artwork on Hyperpause and information about the game. Let's go to a famous one. Hold on. Let's go to Super Mario World. Fade screen. A lot of games have the corresponding backgrounds and bezel artwork. So for my system, I've got it so if I click and hold start, or select, sorry, I should say, it will take you into Hyperpause. And you go down, cartridge art, you can have a look there. And it scrolls with a description of the game and how many times you've played it and the time and date, etc. The manual, which I thought was really cool. And so for pretty much every game, including the arcade games, I've got manuals for, and it all fits on the 3 terabyte drive. And if you click and hold that again, you go straight back into the game. And you can save states and everything in Hyperpause. It's fantastic. And just to quit the game, it's just the left flipper button, and brings you back into the game world. Super Nintendo CD, or MSU1, basically just SNES games with modified audio files. Some Japanese systems. '64 DD. Nintendo 64 Japan. The GameCube is a great arcade console, really. A lot of the games run really well just with arcade buttons and joystick, especially like NBA Street is one of my favourites. Again, we've got bezels in that as well. Nintendo Wii. I haven't got loads of Wii games. They're very large in size. Maybe I do need to get a bigger hard drive, but I'm not going to for now. In fact, most of these games, you know, are the games that I play on the Wii. There's not many more I would play because I don't have a Wiimote, which, you know, I just want to use the arcade machine with the joystick and buttons. I have the Nintendo Switch on here, but the games just don't run. So I've got them prepared for when, obviously, the user emulator improves, or I don't know. I might have to improve my CPU first before I get these games running. They're talking about bringing out a version of Yuzu which doesn't need much RAM. I've only got 8 gigs of RAM. A lot of these games alone on the Yuzu emulator use 8 gigs. So that could cause a lot of my slowdown. But it's ready to go when, as and when. I've updated a lot of the emulators to run the games at higher resolutions. I think most of us do, to be honest, when they've got a PC that can handle it. So the 3DS games would all be upgraded to, I don't know, say 1080p or whatever. Same with PlayStation 2, the Wii, all updated graphics, so it's the best it can be. I'll show you some 3DS. I've got quite a large 3DS library. There's a really cool bezel as well, which I managed to find somewhere. Can't remember where from. Let's start one of these games up. I'll show you the bezel.
Here we go.
Yeah, so Citra has a mode where it will play one large, the top screen as one large one, the main screen, and a small screen at the bottom, which is cool anyway. But someone designed this bezel to fill in those gaps, and it just looks fantastic. Okay, so one button to exit. bunch of the NES classic games, so you don't have to go through all, I don't know, 700 games to find the one you want, because they're mostly going to be in there anyway. Onto the Sega systems. So I have them organised, you know, Nintendo, Sega, Sony, in that way. One of my favourite systems. And one of my favourite games. Well, I say favourite, it's that's definitely nostalgia there. Me and my brother used to sit there and play this for hours, mainly because we didn't have any other decent games.
Você fez 10 anos.
Got pretty much the full Saturn library. I think some of these themes are just amazing. How they've got the disc spinning on the actual console. Full Dreamcast collection. So I have an SSD as my boot, to boot Windows, and a 2 terabyte and a 1 terabyte hard drive. I started with a 2 terabyte and it just ran out pretty quickly, so again, I think I've run out of space now. Pretty much a full Sony PlayStation collection. PlayStation 2. Not a huge collection here, but a lot of the games that I would play on an arcade machine. Gran Turismo, Grand Theft Auto, you've got to have them. I'll just play it with the controller. Show you some of the games that I've got on here. PlayStation 3. A lot of these are just like the network games. Xbox. Not many games on here. Not a lot of them work on. I think it's the Xenia or CXBX emulator. That works quite well. Halo doesn't really work much on the CXBX, but I put the there was a sort of modded or a hacked version of Halo that was on the internet, which you could play for free online. So there's Halo 1 and Halo 2. The Ouya. Not many people remember that because I don't think many people bought it. But there's some cool games on here. Especially, again, they're good for arcade play. Sonic the Hedgehog 4.
Lemmings has bashed its way into CDR.
These games don't run particularly well at the moment. I think it's on MAME. Just don't handle them very well. Down to the Ataris. I love some of the artwork on these themes and systems, old systems. The wheel art is fantastic. This whole section is a lot of older systems, which are a little bit before my time, but they're still pretty cool to play. I love some Scum VM games. Day of the Tentacle. That's its 7th guest. Dig.
Aha! A secret passage.
C64 Mini. But again, 3 terabytes was enough to get all these systems on, with all the video artwork, all the themes and everything. So yeah, I know we're going through a lot of old school titles, but we get through to some bigger, newer games shortly. I love the theme on this one. It just looks pretty cool. Definitely goes with the system well. You've got some old LCD style games. I mean, I don't really sit here and play them that much, but they're cool to have, especially you've got friends over and you go, do you remember these? And they'll play a couple of them and realise, yeah, they were actually pretty shit. Almost through the handhelds and consoles, moving on to arcade games now. So a shmup section all on its own, because I do love me some shmups. And each game has its own theme, which I think is just amazing. So what I did was rather than waste a load of space and just take that rather than waste a load of space and copy all the themes over and videos over, I've just got one section of main where all the videos are, all the themes are, wheel art, and then you can do this thing where I can't remember what you call it actually, but it copies what you need using an XML file and just shows what you need from that system in that wheel. As you can see, if you leave it for a little while, it will just start a tracked mode and just spin and land on a random system. Where do we go to? Gun games. This awaits me getting a light gun. I'm kind of holding out for one of those Sinden light guns because I don't really have room for or want to drill holes for like a Wii bar here, Dolphin bar. And I've also heard they're not particularly accurate and need a lot of calibration constantly. So I'll see and wait for those Sinden light guns to come out and see what they're like. I've also heard that those aim track light guns are like dragging a mouse across the screen rather than actually, shooting. You can see Ghost Lost is a creator of a lot of these themes. He does some great work. and a lot of the wheels. In fact, his YouTube channel is fantastic. He's got links to most of his stuff. So if you sit and dedicate a lot of time to setting it all up, but he's done all the hard work for you. So these are sort of makes of arcade titles. Of the Capcom systems. Or Vector games. So I made a separate wheel for, these are a bunch of arcade classics where they've got these really cool bezels. It was made, again, sorry I don't know the name, so I can't give them a shout out, but someone made these really cool bezels to actually look like real arcade machines. So I thought I'd put them in their own little group, so if I fancied it, I could feel what it's like to play on the actual machine with the real artwork on the sides. Oh, typical, it's not going to work on that one. I bet I've changed something on MAME recently because I was trying to get those LCD games to work. Yeah, totally. Oh well, I'll have to go back in and sort that out. Got some of the newer arcade systems. This is fantastic. Metal Slug 6. Some of the fighting games are just fantastic. Naomi, a bunch of Dreamcast games for the arcade. So I've been putting a lot of work into sorting out my Techno Parrot wheel. So there's a bunch of newer games on here than there was. Star Wars Battle Pod, again a new arcade game that's been released. It works pretty well as well. And I quite like a lot of these Japanese fighting games, the newer arcade ones. Just the artwork is crazy. Retro Tennis 4. I didn't even know this came out, but it's a lot of fun. Again, a lot of these artwork and themes you can get online. If you're interested, I can always point people in the right direction as to where to get these themes from. I've adjusted a lot of the themes as well, because sometimes the themes take a long time to kick in, because someone set the delay to last quite a long time. So a lot of these themes I've edited myself, just the delay really, and there's a couple of other things which is personal preference, which I'd like to change. As you can see, loads of cool newer arcade games. I think that's all of them. Yeah, there we go. Nintendo Power. Here's a bunch of old school magazines if you feel inclined to sit there and read a magazine on an arcade machine. But again, I like the artwork and having it on here, and there's the first one that came out. So you click on it and it will load up a PDF of the magazine, and press right on the joystick and you can just flick through. I can't remember the buttons, but you can zoom in, zoom out, and have a double page, and yeah, again, just little extras which make it feel pretty cool. Again, same button to exit, and you're back into the wheel. I really like this wheel. Ghost Lost brought this pack out, and yeah, it's just a bunch of they feel like retro racing titles, but they're new. So you probably recognise some of these games. Some of them not so much, but they're really fun to play. Some of these systems were only recently put on the arcade machine, but I found this media pack somewhere, and yeah, I think it looks awesome. There's not much to choose from Hack Games for Hyperspin. Obviously there are a lot out there, but to find the artwork and the themes and stuff, there's just not a lot freely available. So when I saw this, I sort of jumped on it. So if you look at the wheel, it will dictate which system it's from. So that's obviously from Mega Drive for the artwork. That one, I don't know, probably Game Boy. Nintendo Entertainment System, just by the colour and the Nintendo seal on there. Again, Mega Drive. That's going to be Master System, I presume. Yeah, Master System is the colours, and I just thought that was pretty cool. Don't know if you guys noticed, but there's this pack out for your special artwork on the bottom. I added this because I thought it's a lot clearer and a lot of information on how to use the system. So if you're, depending on what controller you're using, so here we go, you've got button 2 would be select, which is that. Button 4 to exit, which is button 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And if you plug in a PlayStation controller, it tells you how to operate Hyperspin. Let's come out of that. Mugen. So lots of sort of hacked games, not hack games, sort of indie, individuals creating fan games, I'll call them, fan fighters. And these are really quite cool. A lot of them take a lot of individual setup, each game does. and I haven't really gone through every game, just some games that I like. Yeah, Street Fighter 2 HD Remix is a lot of fun. It's the Super Smash Bros. Fighting game. Open Ball, again, sort of fan games, but in a beat 'em up style. Obviously, a lot of you know what Open Ball is, so I don't really need to tell you. But again, this pack came out and the artwork's fantastic. Fruit Machines using the MFME emulator. I adjusted the theme, the default theme, to just show the video of the game itself. It's another Future pinball wheel. Raymond St. Patrick made this pack of Future pinball tables using BAM, and I thought I'd make my own wheel. It was a Future pinball wheel, just put the word BAM on there. But these tables are a lot of fun. Sort of really realistic and use video files and stuff. Then I've got several sort of PC games that I like sort of quick access to. The main ones, Tekken 7 and Street Fighter 5, Mortal Kombat 11. He just punches this guy straight in the nuts. Bosh. And then a search function, which is pretty handy with so many games. So say you type in, use a joystick, which is all pretty good, so you don't ever have to reach for a controller or a keyboard, which is kind of what I was aiming to do with the system. Search. It will come up with, what was it, 307 games with Mario in the title. It comes up with a video snap, and so you can go along, try and find the system that you want, say 3DS. It will show you the system, and Mario Kart 7, and then you click on that and it will launch the game, hopefully. There we go, yes. There's nothing worse than doing a video and it not working properly. So this was the 3DS, wasn't it? So yeah, it will launch Citra and straight in, play Mario Kart. So that's quite a cool function of Hyperspin. One button to exit. And we're back to the start. So yeah, there you have it. Quite a long video. I wasn't expecting that, but I guess with 180 wheels, it's going to systems. So yeah, there we go. And so you leave, if you leave it, it will just cycle through a track mode style. And I like to leave it on Arcade Classics because it's got some of the best themes and it's the most attractives. So yeah, so leave it running for a second. There you have it. I mean, if you guys have got any questions or if I can help anyone in any way, just send us a message. And yeah, I've been working with Hyperspin for about a year now, and to getting my head around, it's taken me quite a long time to get my head around everything, and a lot of help along the way. I want to thank a lot of people like Ron Marinus. Help, I know obviously on this group it's a bit controversial, but he helped out a lot. Dean CV, fantastic. Just so many people that have helped. Lee Hardy in the beginning as well. And who else? Yeah, those people. Justin Marin, he's and the Bezel Project guys. Yeah, all fantastic people. Love the community, and this is just a result of that. It started from just a Raspberry Pi, and it's just got developed into some sort of beast. But yeah, thanks very much. I'll speak to you guys soon. Take care.